This man is truly amazed. Before, both the school senior he admired and his childhood friend, whom he secretly loved, fell for his brother, but after discovering the goodness in the male protagonist, they started pursuing him instead. The aloof senior suddenly became affectionate, leaving him bewildered. His childhood friend became even closer than before. Plus, the glasses-wearing girl he had confessed to earlier in the story suddenly reappeared. It seemed like the male protagonist had become the center of romantic attention, just like in a love story. He thought his path to happiness had finally opened up, but then a girl named Bishue stopped him in his tracks. Bishue wanted to meet the male protagonist alone, and as he looked at her shy expression, he realized that his romantic fortunes were indeed on the rise, and nothing could stop them. They went to the rooftop platform, and Bishue nervously held her skirt while loudly confessing that she had been observing the male protagonist all along. Upon hearing this, the male protagonist's heart swelled with joy, as it seemed like a confession was imminent. However, standing and talking for too long made his back ache, so Bishue suggested they sit and chat. To his surprise, a finely crafted bench appeared out of nowhere on the rooftop. He couldn't understand how there could be a bench on the rooftop, and the bench seemed to carry the lingering memories of the previous plot twists. Sure enough, Bishue had found out about the male protagonist's double dealing, even though he hadn't actually acted on it yet. He couldn't figure out how she had discovered his secret. Similarly, Igue had noticed that he was the protagonist's backup love interest during a baseball game last year and had been investigating him ever since. Seeing the male protagonist's denial, Igue even showed him evidence she had secretly collected, although he hadn't actually done anything wrong yet, to condemn him for his actions. Igue turned them into newspaper headlines. The article showed the male protagonist's face, but the three female leads were unrecognizable. Seeing the male protagonist vehemently deny the allegations, Igue decided to temporarily believe him but insisted on conducting a personal interview. If it proved his innocence, the article wouldn't be published. If there was any truth to the accusations, his reputation would be ruined. Being targeted by this paparazzi team, the male protagonist decided to temporarily set aside his role as the love interest. However, he didn't anticipate that the charming Autumn Inshue's sister was waiting for him. He had a bad feeling about her sudden appearance. Meanwhile, Igue was quietly taking notes. Chiu Yi-ing sought out the male protagonist because of an upcoming campus season event, where there was a one male three female dance activity, and she happened to draw the male protagonist as her partner. One of the three female leads was Chiu Yi-ing, and it was said that after the dance, the male protagonist would choose one of the three girls to be with. Initially, the male protagonist, who wanted to refuse the offer, found himself unable to decline when the aloof senior mentioned that she only chose to participate because he was there. He had no choice but to agree. After school, Igue followed the male protagonist closely, knowing that this was their plan. The male protagonist had asked Igue to cooperate with him to dispel the rumors about him pursuing multiple girls. He had only asked her to act strict in front of him, but her acting skills turned out to be quite awkward. Autumn Inshue found the last female lead for the dance, but she was terrified when she saw the male protagonist and remembered their previous misunderstanding from their early years. Due to her withdrawal, there was a vacant spot in the dance, which left the male protagonist in a dilemma. However, after a prolonged personal interview, Bishue began to see the male protagonist in a different light, and while she wouldn't publish the article for now, she wanted to continue her close interviews. When the male protagonist mentioned the vacant dance spot, Bishue, in her shy manner, wanted to volunteer, but Chiu Yi-ing messaged him, saying they had found someone. This news disappointed the girls, but they didn't expect that the person Chiu Yi-ing had found was the male protagonist's brother, Xiao Kang. The male protagonist was confused as it was supposed to be one male and three females. However, it turned out that Autumn Inshue had used her connections as the student council president to make this arrangement official, and it was approved. This news heightened everyone's excitement. They practiced diligently, including choosing dance outfits, which eased the remaining doubts in Igue's mind. The next day, as the male protagonist sat down in his seat, a group of spirited girls surrounded him, shouting accusations. A newspaper was placed on his desk, and he was shocked to see that it had been published. Just as the spirited girls were about to confront him, the student council president, Chiu Yi-ing, suddenly appeared to defend him. However, her arguments only raised suspicions, and people began to suspect that she was one of the three love interests. When Xiao Yiying couldn't come up with a convincing explanation, Igwe suddenly appeared and explained that the news had been mistakenly reported, and the truth couldn't be confirmed yet. As a member of the news organization, everyone chose to believe her, and the spirited girls left without further confrontation. Igwe apologized to the male protagonist repeatedly for the harm her mistake had caused him and quickly collected all the newspapers. However, the situation continued to escalate, and Autumn Inshue advised the male protagonist to stay away from the three girls for the time being, and dance practice was temporarily halted. After school, Egwa, feeling guilty for the male protagonist's inability to practice dancing due to the situation, offered to be his dance partner as a way to make amends. The male protagonist couldn't refuse her kind gesture, and Bishue unexpectedly benefited from this turn of events. Under the setting sun, the two of them practiced intensely, with a mix of both practice and ambiguity. Little did they know that Yu Qingying had witnessed this scene.